pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start the regular meeting of March 15, 2022. Roll call.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Bruns?
Here.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to open up the meeting with a hearing. At March 1st, 2022 meeting, the council accepted the proposed fiscal year 2022-2023 budget with a mill levy of $11.90 and established this date and time to hear public comment regarding said budget. The required notice has been published. So I'd like to formally open up the hearing and ask for any written or oral objections or comments to the budget. Doesn't look like there's anyone here to comment on the budget. So I will close the time for receiving objections and note that the administration recommends that the council approve this without amendment.
Anything changed from last meeting?
No, the only thing, I did make one slight change. Kevin was gonna trade in the police car, and he can't do that through total anymore, so we're probably gonna sell it outright. So I increased the revenue and increased the expense to offset, so no change to the bottom line.
And I'd make a motion adopting resolution number 2211, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll have roll call.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Bruns?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
And Donlin?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to general discussion. Any citizens here for comment? Does not look like it. Thumbs up award. Mike, anybody deserving of a thumbs up this week?
Yes, but I'll pass.
Good answer. Brian?
Pass.
Clark?
Good luck to the Hawkeyes and good luck to Iowa State in the tournament. So good luck to both those teams.
Yeah. And good luck to me in my bracket. So I don't have anything either. I can't recall. There are deserving people, but not on the top of my mind. So
I'll throw in Creighton in that. Good luck to
And Baylor.
yeah, there you go.
Also, I'm gonna give a thumbs up to someone who's here today, who is leaving Lamar's. Dennis Morris has served Lamar's for 11 years,
Almost
almost 11 years
10
with
and a
Clem.
half plus, yeah.
And I know how hard and the time and the effort that Dennis puts in to everything he does. A lot of factions in Lamar is going to be very much missed, and I wish him all the best in his new endeavor. May I say where?
I'll be going to WNAX Radio in Yankton, South Dakota.
And become their farm reporter?
One of them, yeah.
Very good.
WNAX is celebrating its 100th year this year, and they cover a wide area. They cover basically 5 states: North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Iowa. And they're probably one of 3 radio stations in the Midwest that are really focused on farm and ranch news.
Well, congratulations, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you. I'm going to miss this area.
Thanks for thinking of that, Steve. Mark?
Yeah, I would just add to that also, I've never had a bad interview with Dennis, and I can't say that for all of our media, so I appreciate making us look good.
Thank you.
I would also like to say, I've been up at the convention center last week and this week on jury trial, and Alice up there really runs a good show. She's always available. The minute you have any issues, she's just right upstairs taking care of it, so thumbs up to Alice.
Dennis, is this your last meeting?
This will be, yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Unless you have a special meeting between now and Saturday.
Just for fun, let's say.
Let's meet somewhere else, huh? Okay. Consent items. All items listed under the consent will be enacted with one motion, and we have the approval of the March 1 regular minutes, list of bills for the period ending 3/11/22, and a monthly financial statement for the end of February 2022. Any comments or questions on those? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve consent item 1 through 3.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. So attached is an agreement with JEO Consulting Group, Inc. for design, bidding, and construction services for the Hawkeye Avenue and 12th Street Southwest intersection PCC replacement project. The last time this intersection had considerable work done to it was in 1996 when the intersection was widened. There are portions that are showing severe cracking and failure. This project is not a complete removal and replacement of the entire intersection, but a replacement of those areas that are failing. The proposed schedule is as follows. Design, May 15, 2022, letting, June 27, 2022, and council award, July 5 of 2022. Administration recommends that we approve the agreement with JEO Consulting Group.
Jason, on the list of scheduled events towards this, when is construction day? I think Jason's.
It could happen anytime after that July 5.
Okay, second question, are they going to put in a length of construction, you know, how long that intersection is gonna be tied up as part of the project, or is that yet to be determined, or how's that work?
Yet to be determined. Once you award this, I'm gonna meet with JEO and then we'll look at that intersection, determine how much needs to be replaced, and then from there we can figure out how long it should take.
Because that intersection will be completely 100% shut down, correct?
No, I would prefer it not be.
Okay.
I would like to at least keep some lanes open. That'll be determined yet, though, Clark. That was one of the stipulations I put out in the request for proposals, is that I did not want the entire intersection closed.
Okay, that's good. I mean, if it works out
That
that way.
doesn't mean, that doesn't mean certain legs of it. You know, that the rail crossing, that may get closed because of all of the proximity of what I know is some bad concrete there. I don't know if there's going to be any way to work around that.
Okay. And then, Jason, my last question is this. I don't know if this is the time to bring this up or not. Are we gonna have some sort of an overseer on this project? Because at the end of the day, I want an overseer so that at the end of the day, if we have failure in 2 years or 3 years in portions of this project, we don't have to go through the typical finger pointing of it was Mid-American Energy, it was the contractor, it was the engineer, it was the whatever. Instead, we've got something to put our teeth into saying, hey, you designed this, we're getting failure prematurely. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, I'm just trying to stiffen up our regulations a little bit.
Yeah, I believe, Clark, construction oversight inspection is part of this contract with JPO.
Okay, I read through it and I saw it, but I didn't know to what depth. I didn't know, you know, what depth, if on-site, before they pour, blah, 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 tear out, how they lay the rebar. I didn't know exactly what depth that was. So that's my question.
They'll be, JPO will be contracted to do that.
Good enough. That's all I got.
Okay.
Motion to approve an agreement for professional services with JEO Consulting Group with fees not to exceed $20,000 for the Hawkeye Avenue and 12th Street Southwest intersection PCC replacement project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on it? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Assistance request. We have the request from Morrow Properties LLC. They're proposing the construction of a multifamily housing in Lamar's. Morrow Properties LLC is pursuing financial assistance for a portion of the cost of this project, and as such is requesting approval from the city of Lamar's to submit application to the Iowa Economic Development Authority for funding through the Workforce Housing Tax Incentive Program. Administration is recommending that we fulfill the local match through our Urban Revitalization Plan tax exemption. The plan allows for 100% exemption of taxes on new construction for the first 7 years of multifamily residences. The estimated total of tax exemption amount is $83,327 over a 7-year period.
Is that the city's portion? That is the city's, or is that the total?
That's total.
So the city's portion would be 45% of that?
Yep.
Okay, okay, I thought so. I just wanted to.
Is this a group we've had worked with before?
Yeah, we have.
They already have one
Yeah.
building on there.
And Jacob, just for the record, this is what we give everybody. This has been the standard. We're not changing it. We're not giving more or less. It's pretty much just been our standard aid, correct?
Correct.
Okay, okay. I want to make sure of that. Well, this has worked out quite well. Motion to adopt resolution number 2212, approving the Workforce Housing Tax Incentive Program application to the Iowa Economic Development Authority for the construction of multi-family housing by Morrow Properties LLC.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Roll call?
Donlin,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
and Goodchild.
Yes.
Motion carried. I do concur, Clark. That program has worked famously in getting multifamily housing built in this town. It's much needed. So there wasn't any built for 30 years or more, and it's been amazing. So
Greg, how many total apartments do we have out of this?
I knew you were gonna ask.
Trick question. That's all right. It's over 120, isn't it?
Oh, yep, well over 120.
291,
291?
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
just say it with confidence.
I was gonna say that. Authority.
291 roughly. And this, I don't know what this one's gonna be though.
That's fine. I didn't mean to spring it on you. I just, it has worked.
It's worked very well.
And they're about to start rolling on to the full tax schedule too,
Yep.
here pretty quick. We've gotta be within a year or two of
I
them.
would say 2 years.
Two, I would guess.
I would say, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, so, good enough.
Where exactly is this apartment complex? It's gonna be out by the airport again, or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They currently have a building there, but it's near the Four Brothers Dollar General between.
Okay, they've actually got 3 apartment buildings on site already with some detached garages, and they do have room for one more. I haven't seen the plans yet, so we've gotta make sure it's gonna fit
properly, but,
Hey, another thing too, Greg, as long as we're on the subject, is, we need to make sure the city stays on top of trash out there. And, I've gotten multiple complaints from airport people.
Yep.
And it's a warranted complaint, you know,
Yep.
that.
Yep.
We get a lot of wind and.
and I've, spoken several times with the property owner, and once we kind of get some frost out of the ground where something can be done, they plan on putting up some protective fencing.
Okay.
And they have already, went to a larger dumpster than what was on site previously.
Well, I know I told one guy, you know, over the holidays, you're gonna have excess trash.
Correct.
I mean, hopefully everybody's responsible. but
Yep.
For the general use, like, that's
Yep.
good, thank you.
So, yep.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And there has been some early discussion in committee levels about, you know, maybe readdressing this 7 years, maybe it doesn't need to be 7 years anymore. But, like I said, I think it's worked famously. The thing with all this boost in development, you know, we don't get any tax revenue off it, but we still have to provide police, fire, services to all these people for a period of 7 years and, before we start recouping some of that. So, it's just a consideration, but it's worked well, so. Jason, you are up. First of all, how's the weather?
Current conditions in Sarasota is partly cloudy and 79.
Oh, nice.
Well, we're almost there.
I just figured you didn't set your clocks right, so you missed the meeting today.
We'll be there this weekend.
I don't have anything in particular,
Okay.
but I'll answer questions.
Anybody have any questions for Jason? Not, we'll keep trucking along.
Okay, I got a couple things I wanna go over today.
Seth says he's citizen of the day.
Dave,
That's what I heard.
that's right. So last week, Clark, you had brought up fuel and utilities and kind of what we had built into the budget. And so after the meeting, I went back and reviewed it, wanted to make sure that it gave good numbers on that. So for fuel, for next year's budget, for the general fund overall, we're right around a 24% increase that we built in there for fuel. Prices have gone up quite a bit, but hopefully that will be enough. And also for the enterprise funds on fuel, which would be water sewer, we did a 20% increase on that. In year to date for fuel, we're running 76%, so just over budget. Obviously, it's jumped a lot the last few months, so I would anticipate by the end of the year we'll be over by a decent amount, but not crazy. So then on utilities, for general fund, we didn't do as well with building increases in there. So overall, it was a 7% increase that we built in there. So likely that's gonna end up being not enough for next budget year, but we can address that when we do our amendment. The enterprise funds, we did a lot better. We did a 34% increase for utilities, and that is where a majority of our utilities come out of, at the wastewater and water plant. So it's good that we kind of built in a good increase there. Year to date on those, we're actually running right around budget, both for the general fund and enterprise fund.
Okay.
And then the one other thing I wanted to mention, it's come up a couple times, is snow removal costs, because we have had a pretty mild winter. So even though we've had a mild winter, we still have to get a lot of our salt reserves, just in case the snowstorms come. So for salt, we did spend a little bit less than the year before, but not a lot. So hopefully that will help with some reserves going into next year. We haven't had as much overtime with not having as many snowstorms. So I'm estimating roughly $10,000 savings.
That was actually my next question for you was for Scott Knight was what we're saving this year. I mean, in projected forecast, looks like we're gonna come through the winter fairly unscathed. So with salt reserves, like, do we have to take delivery if we don't need it, or
I think most of it's been delivered, yeah.
for the next year?
So I think he usually starts ordering it, don't quote me on this, but I think we usually start seeing bills July, August, and then they kind of deliver.
So he'll determine his order off of how we're sitting?
Off of how we're sitting, yeah.
Okay, then that answers that, okay, because I was curious about that one,
Okay.
okay.
And our weather's weird, but by July, August, we should be done with snow, so we'll have a good idea how much we have left.
By May, June.
Once we're cold.
Frosty cross in June, huh?
That's all I had.
Okay, council, Mark, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Steve?
No, leave them alone.
Jason, when does our, our leaf and branch site start to fire up again?
Don't say fire.
Sorry, that was bad. Get started up again?
I don't know if that's April 1st or if it's May 1st. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay, and are we going to automatically look at some extended hours out there? The answer is yes. I mean, those seem to go.
We can, I don't think there was any issues with what we did towards the end of last year.
Okay, okay, good.
We can,
Sorry?
April 1st, I just got, April 1st is when it opens.
Okay. Yeah, I would like, yeah, what we did at the end of last year, I would really like to see a continuation throughout the year. I think it's accommodating to working people and just gives them a little bit longer hours to, instead of trying to cram it in by 2 o'clock on Saturday. I can't say we got more customers, like I think it's been pointed out, but they may be spread out, but I think it really helped a lot, and I think we can afford to do that. So I was kind of curious about that. Other than that, I got nothing.
Brian?
Nothing.